I think the only thing I really knew about menopause was that it wasn't happening to me, or so I thought. I think that I thought I wasn't old enough to have menopause symptoms yet. I think it was a little disconcerting, but at the same time comforting to know, like once I started to really unpack what was happening, I started to realize like, oh, actually this is kind of normal, and it is. My symptoms, I wasn't clear if they were menopausal symptoms or just me symptoms. You have some stereotypical symptoms that you envision being something that's part of menopause, like your hot flushes or your weight gain or things like that, maybe insomnia, but there's like a full gamut of other symptoms that you don't know. You know, I try to just tell myself like, no, you just, it's COVID, you're gaining a little bit of weight, or it's whatever the story was. You know, there would be some excuse that I would be busy telling myself because I, in my mind, was like, well, no, that's not you. That's like 10 years from now. Yeah, it was hard though, I think, to have that awareness because there was a definite like line in the sand of that's other people. That's not you. I was prescribed DHEA. I know that a lot of people say, oh, like that's just an over-the-counter supplement. You can just go get it. You don't need a prescription. But Winona has like a pharmacy-grade DHEA supplement. And I really didn't want on my own to just wing it. I had experienced some weight gain. I wasn't really sure what it was from. I wanted to make it about something else. And I just tried it. You know, once I did all the proper things that you needed to do to get a prescription, I tried it and I thought, well, let's just see what happens. And so I started to notice subtle shifts over probably 2-3 months, you know, and it still continues, but it is helping. So that was good. But my basic complaint was weight gain, some anxiety. That was just something that I had to sort of work through, you know, but the medication helped. And I do think it wasn't quite 3 months. It was less than that. I learned about Winona during COVID, scrolling. It just caught my eye and I was really sort of interested in how accessible that was to have that, you know, kind of quick online experience. And I was interested. It was just sort of popped into my eye line and that was it. I think I just took the quiz was what I did. They had an intake quiz. It was sort of like, how do you know if you're in menopause? Take our quiz and find out if you are potentially a candidate for what we're doing. So that's what I did. I think the biggest thing was really anxiety and weight gain for me. And, you know, I didn't really know if there was anything that was going to, like, quote, make it go away, because in my experience, weight gain, no matter what it's caused, whatever the cause is for your weight gain, that it usually requires effort on your part to alleviate that. It's not just take a pill or whatever. But I did feel encouraged. I wanted to have some accountability. So I told myself that the expectation was for Winona, if I was prescribed something, to give it a proper period of time to sort of weigh in. So yeah, I just decided, let's just try this one thing and see. I think my experience reaching out to physicians at Winona, it didn't present the obstacle that you sometimes encounter when you just have to go to your regular doctor or to your OBGYN, where I had an OBGYN that I really, really loved, and she retired. And the person that sort of took her place, I wasn't loving, and I still don't. And I wasn't shopping for a new OBGYN. I was just really looking for something that could help with the symptoms and the treatment. And then having the consult with a Winona physician was really helpful. I had a lot of concerns because I had a family history of breast cancer. And I was, quite frankly, really petrified about the idea of doing anything, just because, you know, you don't know what to expect, and there's no guarantee that what you're going to do is, you know, 110% like for you or not for you. I mean, it's an experiment, like all things. There's no promise that you take something and it's going to work for you. But it was really amazing because we had a long conversation about like what my concerns were. I was very clear about like what my family history was, what my concerns were, what were my choices? Like, did I have to make a decision right now about what my long-term treatment was going to be? Could I start on some things and wait to see on others? So I was presented with a lot of information and a lot of options, which actually made me feel better. But the other thing that was interesting, and I was really surprised, and what I think really won me over about Winona was that there was a lot of integrity in the consultation, because my physician said to me, you know, if knowing all the things you know and the advice I'm giving or the options that I'm providing, if you still feel like you don't want to do this and you're going to be too anxious, like with the factors of family history and things, even though it's safe for you to do so, don't do it. It's really about your wellness. And it's not just your physical wellness. This is about your emotional health, right? You know, Winona, I think, has gone to great lengths to sort of provide educational tools for people to say, like, you know, not only will we answer your questions, but our website is full of a lot of educational information. A lot. I mean, there's article after article after article that supports not just, you know, why the Women's Health Initiative is, you know, an older source of information that has a lot of inaccuracies, but there's also a lot of other pieces there, a lot of other content pieces for you to look at and to consider to make educated decisions. And I think that also is a really big win in my book, because it's empowering women to make smart decisions. And when you have knowledge, you have power. And, you know, it does feel empowering to say, like, okay, well, here's some information. I've looked at it. I've also looked at these other things, and I'm sort of weighing now what's available to me. And Winona does a really good job of that. Like, it's sort of like a phrase that basically says, you know, if you don't believe me, go see for yourself, right? Which is, you know, you carry the wisdom, and your research and your own knowledge and your own experience is as valuable as someone else. And, you know, if you don't want to believe what's being presented, go see for yourself. And I feel like at Winona, you can go see for yourself, right? It's there for you. Like, there's everything, everybody is transparent. Everything is there for you to know or to not know based on how much or how little you want to investigate. It's essentially, it's a little gift, I think, that you get because for me, I like learning and I like understanding what my choices are, and I like being in charge of those choices as well. I don't do well when people tell you how it has to go. So I feel like if you can, you know, use the tools that Winona's offering you, right, to understand, like, here are my choices. And then if you have further questions after reading all the content, which there's a lot of content if you haven't been to the website, then you can say, oh, now I would like to ask some more specific questions. And in my experience, those people are willing and able to answer those questions, and usually pretty quickly, in my experience, like not even 24 hours, 12 hours, maybe. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Even for people I love who are physicians, they typically don't get back to you that fast, right? So I don't know, for people who like answers quickly, I think that, you know, Winona is for you, because how could you not want to have somebody answer your question quickly? You know, it's sort of like, here are my concerns. Well, here's what our response is. Oh, great. And so now would you like to take a step? Yes, maybe. Or, well, no, I still have questions. Okay, what are those questions? You know, I just don't think it's very unique in that aspect where you don't really get the opportunity to, you know, you just don't have that experience regularly with people, I don't think. And especially not in a medical sense. You know, typically there's always like a lull, there's always a wait, or maybe you just get ignored. Right? People don't usually respond to you quickly. So that in and of itself is a nice thing. How did I go from patient to employee? I think if I remember, there was a posting on Instagram that said, you know, are you I don't know what the call to action was. Are you a content person? We're looking for somebody who does social media. It was something along those lines. You know, I'm a writer at heart, and I also felt like, well, I'm good at creating content. You know, I just responded. And then I got a message from somebody saying, hey, can we talk to you? You know, we're doing some interviews. And I thought, okay. And then that went to, round 2 or whatever. And that was great. And that was it. It was just initial meeting, round 2, you're hired, which was great. I mean, that felt really good because I thought, oh, well, that was that. I guess it's meant for me, right? So I try not to have expectations about things. Working at Winona is humbling in that being a person that is the age that I am, a menopausal, premenopausal or menopausal age, is that, I'm open and willing to learn from people who are not my age. Winona is a space that provides women with tools to empower themselves to have a better life, right? There's a strong effort to understand women across all genders. These are the things that motivate me to continue being a part of this team and being in this space, is that, it's not just the product for me. That's great. That's part of it for me. And I mean, I'm obviously going to have a different perspective because I'm an employee and that's not the rest of the world. But because of that, I feel like it's a component. It's a necessary component. Like having a space where you're appreciated, respected, seen, heard, that's good. If I could write a thank you card to Winona, it would probably be a bad haiku. I don't know. Roses are red, violets are blue. Let's all take hormones. I mean, I don't know. No, it would be something that I think I would just want to express gratitude first, and not just for being accessible and being online and providing tools and those kinds of things. But I think I would just really want to call out the uniqueness of the experience. I've been able to, order a lot of things online that bring me some relief and temporary joy, whether those are medical things or not. But this specifically is sort of a big thing, I think, because it has the ability to sort of provide some long-lasting relief for people. And so it's almost like on behalf of humanity. It's not really on behalf of myself and this very specific thing that I'm grateful for, because the gratitude comes from the service, right? Being of service to a large group of people, large group of people being an entire gender called women, right? So how do you express gratitude for people who care deeply about women's health? I mean, it's a pretty big thing. So for me, it's all gratitude for caring, right? And being of service to women in a way that, one of us could affect change. It's sort of providing a much larger scale, a grander scale of care to a group of people who really need it. So